I'll get a lot of hate by putting this video here because I know some who read this translation around me. However, recently I felt a very strong conviction to raise this issue again. So here I am. A lot of Christians had concerns regarding this translation when it came out, and it became popular. Still, today, a lot of Christians read this translation, yet do not know what's wrong with this translation. It's very dangerous. Now, you and I, as Christians, we should really know about this. So, this is their official website. So what basically the Passion Translation is that it is not a translation. It is written by a single guy called Brian Simmons. Where is he? Now, he said that he had an encounter with Jesus at 2 a.m. in the morning in his bedroom, and then he breathed on him so that he would do this project. And Brian Simmons said Jesus gave him a download of insight and revelation instantly. I think one of the major problems with this translation, along with a single author, is that it is a sectarian theology. I will try to make it very plain and simple. So there are types of translations which are word for word, thought for thought. So here, paraphrase. Translations like NASB and ESV, sorry, you can't see this because it's behind my head. They're here. Do you see here Message Bible or NLT? They come under paraphrase. However, the Passion Translation does not even come under that category. The author Brian Simmons added he added so much new material into the text. It is, I think I read it, one of those links that I'm about to show you. It says at least 50% longer than the original because he added so much material, new material. For me, it's nothing different with Joseph Smith and his Book of Mormon. One of the links reviews says that Brian Simmons has created a new scripture with the potential to rule as a canon over a new sect. So let me show you something. Now, this is one of the reviews that I searched on Google. It is done by a Dr. Michael Rydelnik. I can't pronounce this. I'll leave it up to you. He's the vice president, academic dean, and professor of Jewish studies and Bible and nothing like me. He wrote this review. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read one of his points here. He says this: the Passion Translation uses the wrong manuscripts to guide it, although it claims to be based on the Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Simmons declares that the version's unique translations are derived from the original Aramaic New Testament text. Hang on, wait a second. Okay. Since the New Testament was written in Greek, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? Well, he means that in the Gospels, Jesus and all the other people there would have been spoken Aramaic. So Simmons at times conjectures at what the Greek New Testament would have been had it been written in Aramaic. Then he uses a speculation to translate. Other times he uses a Syriac version translated 500 years after the Gospels, which is not even Aramaic, and calls this the original Aramaic. This approach is not a translation of the Bible, but pure speculation. Pure speculation. No other translation or paraphrase has ever done this before. If you want to read this whole review, I'm going to leave this link down in the description. And another review, this is done by, he is the head of the Old Testament department at Moore Theological College. Again, he knows, what I'm trying to say is he knows what he's talking about, okay? It's a very long review. I've read the whole thing, but it's worth your time. But I'm just going to read this abstract because it's going to take a whole lot of your time. I don't want that. Okay, so he says, Brian Simmons has made new translation of the Psalms and now the whole New Testament, which aims to reintroduce the passion and fire of the Bible to the English reader. He achieves this by abandoning all interest in textual accuracy, playing fast and loose with the original languages, and inserting so much new material into the text that it is at least 50% longer than the original. The result is a strongly sectarian translation that no longer counts as a scripture. By masquerading as a Bible, it threatens to blind entire churches in thrall to a false God. Got questions? Again, I will leave this link in the description down below if you want to read, but I'm just going to read this highlighted ones. It says this: the most important problem with the Passion Translation of the Bible is actually found in its name, specifically the term translation. In truth, the Passion Translation is a reworded and rewritten Bible, apparently intended to support a particular strain of theology. If the same material was marketed as a commentary or as a study guide, it would still be concerning. I agree. As it is, the Passion Translation cannot honestly be called a translation or even a paraphrase. I absolutely agree with it. Here is another review done by Andrew Wilson. He's a teaching pastor in London, but I'm just going to read this. Now, he says this: Brian Simmons is a brother and one who has put in a huge amount of work on something very close to his heart. But the result, for a variety of reasons, is not good. I wouldn't recommend people use TPT, the Passion Translation, and if they do, I would recommend they recognize that A, it is not actually a translation, and B, they use other versions as their primary text for study. I would also suggest that pastors who have TPT users in their congregations should clarify the difference between it and the standard translations, just to bring some definition. Now, lastly, I strongly recommend watching these videos from Mike Winger. He's really good at teaching. Man, he's gift from God. I strongly recommend watching these videos from Mike Winger if you want to know about this. Now, he spent a number of hours investigating the translation, and he even hired a bunch of scholars to review this translation. And guess what? All of them claimed that the Passion Translation is not a translation. So you and I as Christians, when and if we see other fellow Christians who read this translation, how should we approach? How should you let them know? Maybe just like my thumbnail? Like, should we just say, this is rubbish, don't read it, just throw it away? No, I think as Christians, we gotta do this in a kind, loving, but firm way. We gotta be very wise. Not with an attitude like, oh, I know a lot of this and you don't know about this. This is rubbish, throw it away. You're wrong, not with this attitude. Of course not. And I think I would ask them, hey, are you aware of this translation? And can I just tell you about this, about concerning things about this translation? And just to provide some reviews from many people, like I just showed you. I'll leave all these links down in the description box. You can have a look. I think this translation, the Passion Translation, shouldn't be in the church. That's my opinion. I can't force you. I can't tell you what to do. I shouldn't read this, and you shouldn't read this. I think this translation shouldn't be in the church.